You've heard it before. The world is in a state of chaos. There are nearly 60 million people in the world displaced from their homes. Who are they? Why are they running? And what can be done? Let's unravel this situation. First, you have immigrants. Immigration is a hot-button issue in the United States. Immigrants are people who leave their country by choice. They choose to live somewhere else for any number of personal reasons. Then you have migrants. Migrants also leave their country by choice in order to improve their livelihood, usually for economic reasons. Then you have 60 million people, men, women, and children, who have no choice but to run. They're fleeing because of persecution, war, and violence. They're literally running for their lives and have no other option. These 60 million people fall into three categories: internally displaced people, or IDPs, refugees, and asylum seekers. IDPs are forced to move into safer areas within their country. Refugees have no choice but to cross a border into a new country to find safety. In both situations, they are rarely able to return home immediately, and the average time away from home is 17 years. Asylum seekers have fled their own country and seek sanctuary in another country. They have made a claim that they're a refugee and are waiting for that claim to be accepted. If the number of displaced were a country, it would be the 24th largest in the world. Over half of the 60 million displaced are children. What does 60 million even look like? It's equal to the populations of both California and New York combined. In 2014, 42,500 new people were displaced every single day. 1 in every 122 people in the world have been forced to flee their home or country because of conflict or persecution. So, why are they fleeing? There are many reasons. The most obvious is war. From the civil war in Syria to the conflict in the Ukraine, when a country destabilizes, people have no choice but to run. Another reason is violence. From gang violence in Guatemala to violent groups wreaking havoc in Somalia and Nigeria. If running or staying and dying are your only options, which would you choose? The last is persecution. Not all countries have freedoms like the United States. If you're considered different, let's say part of the LGBT community or a religious group, you might not be safe in your country and forced to flee. Where are people fleeing from? Pretty much everywhere. More than half, 53% of all refugees worldwide, came from just 3 countries in 2014. Syria, over 4 million. Afghanistan, 2.59 million. And Somalia, 1.11 million. But this is not just an African issue or a Middle East issue. This is a worldwide issue that impacts everyone. Yes, it's in the Middle East, such as Syria and Iraq. And yes, it's in Africa, such as South Sudan and the Central African Republic. But the refugee crisis is also in Asia, in Europe, and in the Americas. The situation is not getting better on its own. Refugees are people, just like you and me, who've been forced to flee through no fault of their own. They deserve respect, community, and opportunity. The refugee crisis affects every single person on this planet and cannot be ignored.